Hey,
Hi.
Morbid.
Hello.
I'm gonna be interviewing you today.
Yay.
And we're currently playing Phasmophobia. We're gonna be locked in this van together for the next 2 or so hours until Morbid answers all of my questions.
The gameplay is being held hostage at this point.
Yes, I am holding the gameplay hostage. First question is, why did you accept the invite?
um, Seemed fun, and it looked like everyone else was having fun a lot of it, and I wanted to just kind of it'd be kind of a cool experience.
You mentioned out of game that you've never done anything like this before.
Yeah. I've never been on the answering end of it. I have done an interview before.
Yeah, like for a job.
No, for a paper.
For a paper.
Yeah, I interviewed a member of my local city council for an article I was writing.
The next question is, what do you do?
Online, I stream on Twitch, and I just play video games, and I make skits and stuff on TikTok
Hmm.
of art. And in real life, I am a first year student studying creative writing and journalism and English
Hmm.
and theater.
The next question is, why do you do what you do?
Originally to make people smile and to kind of, I don't know, just try and make the world a little bit brighter. For, I guess, education, kind of the same thing as I want to be a teacher, and because I want to help make a difference in the world. And it just so happens that English and creative writing is what I'm best at. So
Nice. You think you'll
that's
be
my,
an English teacher?
yeah, secondary English teacher, hopefully.
Cool. And what put you on that path?
I've just always wanted to be a teacher, honestly.
That's awesome.
Like, for literally as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be a teacher.
Was there any experiences that you encountered that sparked of like, ah, yes, I love this. I love what I'm doing right now.
Explaining things to my parents when I would learn things at school that I was interested in,
Ah,
and
uh-huh.
just in general. And then I got a position as a volunteer at my local Parks and Recreation that allowed me to help be as pretty much assistant camp counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working at a museum, and it was just teaching people things. It was just,
Mm.
yep, nope, I love this.
That's awesome.
6 years, let's go.
Like 6 years, let's go. But you're young. You've got time.
Yeah, that is true.
You've got this. Do you make things?
Um, yeah, I pretty much I make a lot of things.
What do you make? Tell me what you make.
I make art, digital and physical. Digital's more kind of characters and stuff, whereas physical I do more painting and sketching.
Uh-huh.
And um I like to make fantasy worlds and make stories.
Ooh.
Um I also make, you know, really low quality TikToks.
Ah. Well, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a question in there. What kind of stories?
Really depends on us. I make fantasy is kind of been my newest one. I like making horror. I like sometimes
And
I like
lit the
subtle
candle.
romance. Yo.
Sorry, fantasy horror. Sorry, I
um
got
You're
sorry.
fine. You know, fantasy horror. I want to get into like a sub. Like, I want to be able to start writing subgenre romance.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to learn how to write eventually every kind of genre.
Mm-hmm. Have you written anything that could be that you've submitted, or is it all just personal right now?
Um, a bit. I write for AO3
Okay.
because I'm that kind of person. So I have some stories submitted there, but they're really bad.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Um, One story I'm writing is just a short story for fun. It's not really private, but I'm just debating if I'm going to upload it when it's done or not.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, and then I also write poetry, and that's a lot more of that's private. But eventually, I want to publish a poetry book.
Oh, that'd be cool. Why do you make things?
Um, Again, mix of things is if it's to be posted or published, it's to improve others. It's just to try and make like something, or just kind of make someone smile or stuff like that. Or
Mm-hmm.
if it's more my personal stuff, it's more of like ways for you to process thoughts and understanding
Mm.
of just kind of everything. Like, I've even done things like drawing for brainstorming an essay before. Like,
Oh, that's fun. I've
yeah,
never thought of that before.
Yeah, no, it's like you set a timer for like 10, 20 minutes. You just draw everything you can think of related to that topic, and then you try and describe the drawings, and then
Oh,
those are
that's
like kind
really
of like the main
smart.
point. Yeah, actually, my mom taught me that one.
I'll have to do that sometime.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. It works actually.
All right, next question is who is someone you like?
There's a lot of people I think are cool.
Then give me a list.
Okay, so obviously, like you and Skunk are two really cool people.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Auntie is really cool. One of my best friends, Mo Shung, I've known her for like 5 years, and she's just super, super awesome. Like one of the kindest people you'll ever meet. Sherv is a pretty cool person. He's awesome. I chat with him quite a bit.
When you stay up way too late, then you should be.
Theoretically.
Mm-hmm.
And he has reminded me that I'm up way later than I should be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Look, you don't have any room to talk respectfully.
I don't. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah, and then there's like other people who either don't have online tags, or if I listed everyone, it's going to go on for way too long.
Okay, then the ones that you have of this collection of group, why do you like them?
All for different reasons, honestly. With Mo and like Hopi and all those guys, is I've known them since grade 8. Like we've known each other in real life.
Uh-huh.
We spent high school together. I guess with them, it's just that we've been all through a lot, and again, they're super nice people, super funny. Mo's been there a lot for me. It's one of the worst parts of my life. There's like other people who I know that like of the list who I'm able to like. For context, I joke about my mental health a lot. It's just my way of coping and stuff, but I'm able to do that with some of them on the list, which I can't do with everyone, and I respect that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely nice I can do that. Again, just there's other people I can talk to about that stuff in a serious light, or just that are like safe groups I can talk to about it. And of course, everyone I've said is just awesome, and they're just really cool in general. So
What do you like about yourself?
that is actually a really hard question to
It
answer.
is. Most people hate this question.
I don't. Well, the reason it's hard is everything I can think of is also like simultaneously a flaw.
Okay, how so?
I'm too open-minded sometimes.
How is that a flaw?
Sometimes I'm too open-minded to a point where I look at a situation that should be looked at all perspectives, and may take an unpopular opinion on it.
Why is that a problem?
Ostracization.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
If that's something you care about, that definitely is a problem.
Yeah, I've also had other instances where I've gone to like full blow, like I've gone into like debates with like teachers and stuff about that kind of thing, which sometimes goes well, sometimes does not.
Yeah. What about yourself inspires you?
That's another really hard question.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the fact that, kind of jumping off the back of the last one, is that I'm still open-minded.
After everything?
Yep.
Okay, next question is how do you react in uncomfortable situations?
Laugh.
Laugh?
I laugh, joke, that kind of thing, depending on the level of how uncomfortable. Giggle. If it's too much, go quiet. So, but the general is like laughing, giggling kind of thing.
Yeah. Are you one of those people that when you're embarrassed, you get this sheepish grin, and then people assume that you aren't actually embarrassed, but are actually enjoying it, but you're actually dying inside?
Depends on the time and situation. I kind of like on that topic, I had a really like, kind of funny thing where my front yard has like a hole in it that I think recently got filled in, and I know it's there. It's been there the entire time we've lived here, and I think it was like the night of my prom. I luckily was not in my dress, but I stepped in it twice, rolled my ankle, and hit the ground.
Oh,
I was just laughing.
Ow!
It was just like I knew it was there, and the moment I stepped, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is happening again. That's the kind of situation I'll laugh at.
Is that something where you're able to laugh at yourself, or is that just how you cope?
Mix of both.
I want to ask a really personal question now. Okay. As if none of these questions have been personal. But what is your theory on why that is your coping mechanism?
It's kind of like it's one of the most common phrases probably, but don't laugh, I cry. It's easier to even if you do end up crying, it's easier to like hide crying tears if you're laughing, because it makes
Yeah.
it seem like you're just laughing that hard.
Yeah, that's true. Who are you?
I'm trying to think of my answer. That should not be the question that stumps me.
Who are you, Morbid? Who are you?
More curiosities. Streamer that likes to help make people smile.
But besides that,
I guess I'm also extremely anxious at things.
you're just a very anxious person.
Yep, pretty much.
Okay.
I'm just a ball of anxiety sometimes, and it's great. Nothing negative about it. It's so fun.
No, totally not. I remember. This might have to backtrack, but like, I remember you mentioned before that you wanted to stream to raise charity.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me more about that.
Well, I've always liked doing things for charity. And I never really like even when I was younger, and this isn't meant to be like, oh, look at what I did kind of thing. It's just kind of like my background of it. Of when I was 8 years old, I think grade 3. My sibling and I ran a used book sale for charity.
Okay.
Like, pretty much we just had help from adults.
But
we ran that and we raised money for charity, and I loved it.
That's
I
awesome.
used to go to the kettle, do like Salvation Army kettle with my grandparents and parents sometimes. I guess I kind of saw a creator doing a charity thing, like a charity stream, and I realized, oh hey, I can try and do that one day.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of the other side of it, is like, if I'm gonna stream and I'm gonna have fun, I may as well try and make it with charity, which is another thing I really want to be a part of.
Outside of race, gender, and career, how would you describe yourself?
This should not be a hard question.
No, it's a very deep question. Go ahead and think about it. I
guess creative. Again, repeating the same phrase over and over again. Open-minded.
Okay.
Anxious. A bookworm, that's for sure.
Yeah. What's your favorite book?
Oh, that's a really difficult question.
Top 3.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna call myself out. I haven't read like a proper novel in a while.
That's okay.
I recently read Island of Dr. Moreau though, and that one was an interesting novel. But that was like for class. A book I really liked when I was a kid this is a series, or 2 series I really liked when I was a kid, was Amulet, which is like this graphic novel series.
Oh yeah. I think I read the first one of that.
Fair, yeah. I've read all of them except for the unreleased one. And the Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare was another series I really liked.
Okay. Thank you. What was a common thread that you liked between those 3 books or series?
I don't really know. I guess After Dr. Moreau was kind of its own thing. That was a science fiction and human-animal hybrid theme story. And I think that was because I did a lot of research into my own theories about it, so that would kind of had its own kind of place. Whereas the other 2, I guess that kind of, Mortal Instruments is that kind of going from normal and mundane to this fantastical like thing. I think they're both like kind of that almost like escape from reality theme. I've just realized that now as I'm talking about it.
That's okay.
I was like, oh hey, that's a theme.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's like why there's like the common thread between the 2 of them.
Okay. You like the escape from reality.
Yeah, nice. And like the adventure and that kind of stuff.
What is something that scares you?
Spiders.
Spiders? What about spiders?
Yes.
Yes?
Just spiders.
Just spiders in general.
To be honest, I don't know the exact thing that freaks me out about them. It's just I don't like them and they freak me out. And I also being watched is something that scares me, which is ironic considering I'm a streamer. But
there's a difference between you and a screen. You're not actually seeing the physical people, so there's a difference.
Yeah, and they aren't seeing a physical me.
Yeah, that is true. There is a difference between there, and it's a very
Yeah.
comforting difference
Yeah.
sometimes.
For sure.
Oh,
But yeah, it's like that. Those like my two big things.
spiders and being watched. So
Yep.
being watched by spiders.
No, that's just territory I'm not gonna touch with a 10-foot pole.
I see. Okay. What is the hardest thing you've ever had to overcome?
Oh wow.
If it's too personal, you don't have to
Yeah.
answer, but you can give me, if you want to, you can give me, it doesn't have to be the hardest thing, but it could be
Yeah.
something hard that you've gone through, that you've had to overcome.
Um, I won't go with the hardest thing because that one is a bit personal.
Okay.
But I would say just pressing the first time pressing go live for
Yeah.
sure. That was so difficult because that was like something I had been like mulling over in my head for like almost a year at that point of like I want to, I really want to, but I'm terrified
Mm-hmm.
to.
Yeah. Okay.
So
When you started, did you have any friends online, or
um
what were you
I
streaming just to the void?
it wasn't those I was streaming to the void. I had some IRL friends that would follow me, but it was more often than not I would just stream with them because I felt so awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming on my own, just talking to no one.
Okay.
Um,
Is that part of why you were so nervous the first time?
I think that was part of it. I think the biggest one was, I guess, if I failed horribly at it, was another big fear of like, well, what if I do press live and it just goes entirely wrong?
What would count as entirely wrong?
I guess just not getting anywhere or doing something that was extremely wrong or something like that. Like, um, I guess that kind of just general fear of that stuff was one of the big things.
Mm. I find that very interesting because we've both been streaming for a while, and I'm
Hmm.
trying to think back on that and just like it's very hard to have things on stream go terribly wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those fears that are not fully irrational, but borderline of like it's very unlikely,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not something that should be at the forefront of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just something that is kind of always there.
All right, I think I can understand that. What frustrates you the most about life?
The fact that open mindedness is bad. I know I keep looping back to this,
It's important. It's
but
okay.
it is something that bothers me. Is just that whole, and it's frustrating as much as like one of the few things that genuinely make me angry. Open mindedness. If you're being open minded about something, and it's not the common opinion,
Mm-hmm.
you are judged and ostracized for it. And even if it's not like a bad opinion, and I will say this very specific one because it's like actually kind of funny.
Okay.
Um, I was on Instagram like it's like I think almost a year ago now,
Uh-huh.
and there's this one video I saw that had this one person going up to a McDonald's worker and just cursing at them for like a
Oh.
minute before saying like who made this, and after this one guy like horrified like kind of steps forward and says he did, it's just like this is great, and it's like oh my gosh, honestly a bit more colorful language from the other person yelling throughout the entire sentence.
Uh-huh.
But at the time I was working in fast food, and
Uh-huh.
I just kind of made that comment. I just made a comment of, hey, don't do this. This is actually like extremely traumatizing and horrifying because we don't know what your intentions are. We're not, you're there to be entertainment. We're not there to make your joke. And
Mm-hmm.
this is a genuinely horrifying experience. Like, even if you knew that one person, there was now everyone in that restaurant who, even if they knew or didn't know, had to hear that. People who were in the lobby had to
Kind of
hear
on
it.
edge.
Yeah, it just ruins the entire atmosphere, and it's really scary. And you don't know the environment that everyone else is from or is having that day.
Yeah.
Um, so it's one of those things where this one person said they're gonna do it, and I just kind of responded like, "Please don't." That was it. That's all I said. Just please don't. And oh my gosh, this person went off on me
Oh
for
no.
like 20 replies. And it was like, oh my god.
Do you have anything better to do with your life,
Like
good
at,
sir?
at one point, this person like called me an old white man living in my mother's basement, and I'm like, what? The funniest part of it was like this is my personal profile. So I had like my own like I had like my face posted and stuff. Like you could go on my profile and see me.
You were definitely not that.
I was not that. That's like a more funny instance of it. There are other points where like just it can go way more south.
It feels like you definitely see the consequences of certain actions, and I'm gonna go on a limb and say that because of how you were raised, it kind of makes you tense up, because if you had reacted that way, you would have gotten in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, it's a mix. I was actually raised to be very open-minded. Like I was raised to look at every situation from all perspectives and all that. And it more so affects me now. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about what it was about or anything, but just kind of the situation of in a class. Actually, this is a class that involved. This is a social justice class. This was like really appalling, and we were talking about like some case or something.
Okay.
And no one was bringing up the opposition, and so I had brought it up. I didn't even say it was my opinion. I just said, "Hey, no one's talking about this." It ended up online. And talked about it on the school. So,
did you get any hate from that, or were you left alone?
I was left alone after a little bit. It wasn't the worst it could have been. And I was just grateful about I didn't know the online stuff was happening until it was actually in a group chat one of my friends was a part of. And he let me know about it, and I confronted this person about it.
I see. Well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That sounds really terrifying.
Yeah, it affected me to a point where to this day I'm still kind of anxious to bring things up that are not like the popular opinion. Because it can strongly change things. Like I was glad I was lucky it didn't get as bad as it could have been. If it got posted around the wrong thing, or if it had spread to the wrong person, it could have ended very bad.
Yeah, misconstrued it the wrong way.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's just the fact that you can't. And it was also, I'm not saying this entirely like because of my like it should have been fixed in the environment from the teacher. The teacher was wrong as well in this situation.
Yeah.
Because it should have been a safe environment in a, like, again, social justice.
Ironic. Yeah.
Yeah, I ended up going to the teacher afterwards. I'm like the next day, I'm like, I'm not talking class anymore. This happened, and I don't feel safe. And that was it.
Well, I'm really sorry.
Sucks.
Yeah, that's awful.
But yeah, so I went off on a whole tangent there. I apologize.
No, that's fine.
That's why it's like one of the things that I'm most frustrated and genuinely angry about.
What excites you the most?
Again, that's like there's a lot of things.
Give me top 3.
Hanging out with friends. This is a more very specific thing of something that excited me and excites me still is getting to go to university and independence from that.
Yeah.
And that's just because I've always wanted to. But I guess since I knew you could live on campus and since I knew university was a thing I kind of wanted to go, it seems like really interesting to me.
Is it the environment, the teaching, or the people?
A mix of all of them.
Okay.
It's different from school and high school where
definitely
I was not popular in high school with a lot of people. So and the reason for that is, and this is again, I'm not trying to like toot my own horn or anything, it's not my ego. It's just from what myself and a few other people I've talked to about, I have kind of figured out. It's just that I didn't understand what a lot of drama was about. Because I was already thinking like I was already asking like a lot of questions. Like my school did dare in like elementary school, and this is like a moment I'm proud of and my mom was very proud of is I asked a question to the officer teaching it, and he had to turn around and like actually process the question to answer.
Well, that's how you know it's a good question.
Yeah, but like I've always kind of been asking questions like that, and I've always wondered things like that. So it's that kind of whole processing was different from peers, which was not popular in college. It's definitely a much different environment where like people, that's the common way of thinking. So it's nice.
Friends, you mentioned friends.
Yeah, friends are a pretty big thing that I get excited about. Like hang out with or talk to people.
Yeah,
Um,
friends are
I-
cool.
yeah, they're awesome. I'm very grateful for the friends I have.
What is something you're proud of?
There's a few things. Again, college is something I'm very proud of.
Uh-huh.
Along with I'm mentioning it again. I apologize, keep mentioning it. Is my charity stream.
Yeah. No,
That was something
charity's awesome.
I was like insane. Like we raised over $100, and
Mm-hmm.
that was insane to me. I was so grateful for it.
What is your most prized possession and why?
That's interesting because I don't actually really have a most prized possession.
Okay.
Everything to me has its own value for different reasons.
Okay.
Like I have some pictures that were given to me from friends. I have some items that were given to me by my parents. I have
Mm-hmm.
comfort items. I have regular items that I just like saved up for or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a most prized possession in particular because a lot of my items mean a lot to me.
Is there one that you would like to tell the story behind that
Yeah,
means a
actually,
lot to you? Yeah, go ahead.
I have a bracelet that was given to me by my mom a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I was going through a really bad point with my mental health.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom had given me this bracelet for my birthday that it's just a really simple, like kind of fake silver bracelet that would
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like wrap around your wrist. But on it, on the back or on the inside, it had engraved, whenever you whenever you feel down, remember whose like daughter you are and straighten your crown. And
Oh.
it's just one of those things where I wore it a lot as a comfort item, and it just
Yeah.
meant a lot because it just made me feel stronger wearing it.
That's really sweet. Yeah.
So that one is something that means a lot to me. I have some cards and stuff
Mm-hmm.
for mixers that mean a lot. Like I have my Christmas card last year from my grandma who passed away in May.
Oh, yeah, that's
So
important.
yeah, and she used to pour her heart and soul into those cards. And I
Oh,
have a few of the older cards from her.
yeah.
Um, and I have another card from my nanny, who's my other
Mm-hmm.
grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because she will write us letters in them, and
Mm-hmm.
the letter meant a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was again going through a little bit of a rough time at that point. And
Yeah.
this was like different. This like I jump ahead a few years. Like I think it was like maybe a year or 2 years ago I got it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a birthday card. And I just kind of keep that with me. I actually bring it with me to college, so I can just have it to remind myself if I'm having a rough time.
I'm really glad that you made it through your rough time.
Yeah, I'm glad too.
It's mental health is no joke. And it
Yeah,
can get really, really rough and really scary. So I'm glad you
yeah.
pulled through.
It's one of the reasons why I'm such an advocate for mental health,
Mm-hmm.
because it can really affect you. And
Yeah,
even if it doesn't affect you as strong, it can affect people around you.
definitely.
So I'm an absolute advocate for mental health.
On that note is a perfect transition for the next question. How do you take care of yourself?
I do a lot of escapism. That's a big
Yeah.
thing for me. I like reading, drawing, writing, listening to music, gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that will, if I'm having a really rough time, pull me out of my reality for a bit. And along with that, one of my biggest things is baking and cooking.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the biggest things I do when I'm having really bad mental health.
Mm.
Is It's easy to distract by needing to measure cups or teaspoons or making sure I have all the ingredients and following instructions. It's
Mm-hmm.
a really big distraction.
What's your
Um,
favorite thing to bake?
my grandmother's recipe for chocolate chip cookie. And the reason for that is I actually wrote a whole paper in anthropology for this. The memories I have associated with it. Like one of my biggest memories of my late grandfather I have is him saying they always had an aftertaste of more to them. My grandfather, who was a diabetic, and we had to
Uh-huh.
eventually take the cookies away from him.
Yeah.
And I remember like cooking them and laughing about cooking them because people would steal steal part of the cookie dough. And to this day,
Uh-huh.
I don't know how much a single batch makes.
Because people keep eating it.
Because people keep eating it, and I'm not going to say I eat any of it because I'd be incriminating myself, and I totally don't.
All right, you ready for the last question? When are you the happiest?
Interacting with my friends, I think,
How often do you interact with your friends?
varies on the day.
Yeah.
Different factors into it, like scheduling, mental health, all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thanks for doing this with me. I had fun.
Yeah, no, thanks for allowing me to do this. It was a lot of fun as well on my end.
But you can also find Morbid on Twitch, although they won't be streaming all that much because they're in college, right?
Yeah, you can also find me on TikTok,
Mm-hmm.
or curiosity underscore.
where you can look at some art. Art's good.
You can watch
Cool
my art and watch my what I think is funny content. Yeah, well, thank you very much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you for being here and answering my very personal questions. You don't have a YouTube, do you?
I do. It's more of a curiosity.
If you have been listening to all of this, you probably should go subscribe to Morbid.
But I am mainly active on TikTok and Twitter.
Thank you, the viewer, for watching. I hope you enjoyed. And I still don't know how to end things, so I'm just gonna click the stop recording button.
That works.
See ya. Bye.